for a Heinrich. Picked up by Red at the buzzer. It'll count if it goes. Online, but a little bit long. Should have used the 6-iron. Had a 5-iron in his hand. So we get ready for the final 10 minutes as the head coach looks on, Mike Krzyzewski. Very, very good third quarter. In a 6-point game, 83-77, and they're loving it in Las Vegas. There's a 7-point lead for Team White at the break. Still a 6-point advantage. 83-77 as we start the fourth and final 10 minutes of play. And our Nike storyline so far, well, the competition. And it has been intense at times today. We saw it. They got into it yesterday. 12 to 17 we're watching. They will be here in 1 month. It'll all start on the 22nd. You'll be able to see all 40 games on NBA TV. It is the FIBA Americas Championship. Top team in Group A, Group B. They will qualify for the Summer Games in Beijing. And a guy that was on the original and the only team that should have ever been called a dream team, the 1992 team. Snapper, you and I were both in Barcelona in 1992. They won by an average of 44 points a game. It was a special group.
You know, there were a lot of things that lined up for that team to be so dominant. Combine the talent, you take their attitude, the fact that a lot of them had never been allowed to play in Olympic competition, the fact that the USA had lost in '88 in Seoul. These guys wanted to prove that there is nobody in the world that could play with them, and that's the attitude they took over there. And they said their toughest games were their practice, and we're seeing a lot of that same kind of attitude from this group out here.
Now, from 1936 to 1988, NBA players were not allowed in Olympic competition. So after what happened in Seoul, it was passed, and it had nothing to do with the NBA. It was passed that the U.S. could use NBA players. And now, with so many international players in NBA play as well, you're seeing Brazil, a couple of players like Barbosa, Nene. He's helping everybody. Carmelo Anthony, the step back's an air ball because of the good defense by Shane Battier. Michael Redd, fall away. Heinrich closed, and Stoudemire's got the board. So it's a 6-point lead. Heinrich, little OC, wanted to pass, and they're going to call the charge. So it goes the other way, and Willie.
You don't have a lot of guys that will you don't have a lot of guys that will step in and take charges in this collection. But Battier does that on a regular basis. That is part of what makes him unique to his team, is that he does all of the little things to try to make the game a little bit easier for his team and his teammates.
His honorable mention last year, All-NBA defensive squad. It was a block from behind by Heinrich. He thought he got it clean. Foul. He is going to be underneath on Amar'e Stoudemire with a little bump. A couple of free throws coming up for Chauncey Billups. Stoudemire with the foul.
But, you know, in the past, and there's always going to be some issues with the selection process, but when they were taking just collegiate players, they used to have tryouts for them, and there were great collegiate players that didn't get selected. One of them, and that's one of the reasons that Jerry Colangelo is trying to come up with this process, is you don't leave Charles Barkley off of teams. You don't leave guys like that at the collegiate level off of the team for whatever reasons. And now they had the dream team selection. They would take 10 pros and a couple of amateurs, a couple of collegiate players, and they found out that people were still being left off, and now they got to come up with a way that makes it a little bit better for everybody involved in the process.
A hold. It was called off the ball on Michael Redd. And also, you don't have to submit it too early. And chiseled and granted, you don't have to say, these are my 12, because go back to 1988 in Seoul. They were void of shooters once Percy Hawkins went down. They didn't have enough shooters in Seoul.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That was a bronze year in '88. And now battle back for the U.S. squad. The U.S. squad, don't forget, in 2004, they had a 5-3 record in Olympic competition. The cleanup by Dwight Howard, who pinned it to the window. Off the miss, Anthony tried to chase it down. The length of Tayshaun Prince got a piece of it. Dwight Howard fouled on the reach. He's okay. And he'll shoot 2 on the foul by Kevin Durant. So a little ragged, but more free throws coming up for Team White. That's the latitude now that Team USA is displaying with 32 listed.
You see Dwight Howard closing things down in the middle. The one thing you can also do in international competition, the ball's on the rim, you can knock it off. Now, we haven't seen these guys do much of that, but they also have to adjust to having shots that go up and then they're wiped away, and they're not considered goaltending.
Well, the FIBA Americas Championship a month away. Once they're exposed to that more often, they'll get used to it in a hurry. Dwight Howard in his 4th year for the Orlando Magic, just signing a long-term extension with the Magic. 3rd-team All-NBA last year. Won't be long before he's 2nd and 1st-team NBA. He's 7 of 7 from the field, 3 of 3 at the free throw line as Darren Williams lost the hand. Pressure on the hip from Chauncey Billups. It has spurted out to a 9-point lead for Team White. Could change in a hurry. And Kobe comes back out there and a couple of others.
Watch out.
It was off the rim. Otherwise, Dwight Howard was there and ready. Anthony on the run out by Battier. Strong move to the hole. Free throw coming up for Carmelo Anthony. It hasn't worked outside. He goes inside.
Well, Anthony is aggressive and very strong. It is difficult to deal with him from the perimeter with that quick first step. Battier runs out. He goes right by, takes the contact, and will have a chance for a 3-point play.
The foul on Tayshaun Prince is his first.
You know, and really the resuscitation of Carmelo Anthony's career, as you know, he had gotten himself kind of upside down about who he wanted to be, how he wanted to play. It started with Jerry Colangelo going to him and talking to him and saying, look, everything that's gone down in your career in the past, we're past that. We'd like you to be a part of this process, and Carmelo has embraced it, and he's played extremely well.
And it's helped him mature as an individual more rapidly, possibly, than he would have had he just stayed out of the international competition playing for Team USA.